Should you include coaching as part of your portfolio career? I'm going to be talking about that and more in order for you to get a good understanding. Now, for those of you who've been following my series, I've been talking about my 9-part series, which is broken down into 3 distinct phases. So you've got the core phase, which is all centered around context, contract, and cash. You've got the growth phase, which is all centered around content, coaching, and community. So we're talking about coaching today. And we've got the learning and scaling phase, which is all centered around codify, capability, and CEO mindset. And so for those of you who don't know who I am already, my name is Michael Tabirade. I help ambitious professionals such as yourself navigate the change in this world in order for you to become or have a flourishing portfolio career. And so what is a portfolio career? It is one that you create and build as opposed to pursue. So in this instance, we've spoken about context, we've spoken about contracts, we've spoken about cash, we've also spoken about content. Now we want to start talking about coaching. So when I speak about coaching, I'm not necessarily saying that you need to be a traditional coach. I'm talking about advisory, consulting, mentoring, all these different things that may be crucial in order to help someone else. Now, a coach trainer I once had called Baran once told me her definition of coaching is somebody who helps you help yourself. Essentially, they hold up that mirror and they have the right approaches and frameworks in order for you to get to where you need to get to. Now, for people who are becoming coaches, they help individuals who are ambitious by nature and who have specific goals. So they're thinking about the future. It's different to therapy, as an example, although they may use similar techniques, who helps you manage your past, so to speak, and helps you potentially manage mental health and or clinical situations. So they stem from a similar sort of like frame, but they help different types of people. So this is definitely not therapy. When we speak about advisory, it's essentially providing information in order for the client to make a decision. So advice, essentially. Mentoring is essentially somebody who has experience within a field or space and actually wants to pass on that knowledge to the person who may be a novice within that space. And obviously with consulting, you're helping an individual or client solve a specific problem using strategic thinking, analysis, all of that kind of stuff there to get to a point. So they may lean on each other in different ways, shapes, and forms. So consulting may use all of that stuff. Coaching may only use, again, mentoring as an example. Mentoring may use a bit of coaching. So they go back and forth. And so with that in mind, like I start thinking about qualifications. Is it a good thing to get a qualification? Well, there are different types of qualifications. You have the International Coaching Federation, ICF. Most people know that because the international makes it seem, big and all of that kind of stuff there. You have the EMCC, which is what I'm trained and qualified by. So the European Mentoring Coaching Council. And then you also have the AC, which is the Association for Coaches. Now they all kind of intermix and interplay. So if you have an EMCC qualification, or should I say accreditation, you can actually get accredited by the ICF via an accelerated route. Likewise, even with the EMCC. So EMCC and the AC work very closely together. And over the years, the ICF and the EMCC have been working closely together as well. But why would you get any of these sort of accreditations or qualifications? Well, really and truly for a number of reasons. Number one, you have frameworks and methodologies and processes at your disposal. Number two, you get to develop a really strong network with other individuals who are interested in coaching and actually can refer people to you. Number three, you're very clear about how to be a coach, what a good coach looks like. Number four, there is great sort of like CIPD stuff, so things to do with developing as a coach and doing all the personal development centered around coaching, etc., etc. And number five, I would say, it's just really centered around making sure you uphold your professionalism. So tracking your hours, developing your learnings, making sure that you send this in like 5 years time to your association to make sure that you're on point. So there are different pros and cons, but there are lots of pros. The con would be that this just takes time. That's all it is. But there are many different things that you can do. Now, do you need a qualification or accreditation? No. Would I advise it? Yeah, if you're interested within the space, most definitely. But it shouldn't take up time if you're not interested. If you're genuinely interested in the field of coaching, then definitely take it. But if you're not, all you really need is the experience to help somebody else and proof that you've helped somebody else or even yourself. So this is where testimonials and all this stuff come into play. And so what I would advise is you start your coaching for free. So I asked Baran, the person who trained me to become a coach, how did she get started? And she gave me some advice, and this is what I did. I put out a post on LinkedIn and said free coaching. And then essentially I highlighted 4 different categories of things that I help people with. So this is with their career, this is with leadership, this is also with sort of like working out things in life, etc., etc. And so what ended up happening was I told people to either comment below or comment in the DMs, and they did. And so I got my first 5 free coaching clients. And then after that, I was able to get more clients that were paid, because what ended up happening was I was talking about the great things that these individuals were doing. And so that drew in more people to want to work with me. And of course, with the content that I had been pushing out, I always had a link to get people to actually have a discovery call with me as well. And so you want to make sure that if you are coaching these individuals, you're saying to them, the caveat is, especially these free ones, you have to give me a testimonial in some way, shape or form. Best way to do that is to have, let's say, 2 to 5 questions that they answer on video, and then you can chop that up however you want, as audio, as text, again, as video, and utilize it the best ways possible, infographics, all that kind of stuff there. And so you really want to make sure that you do all of this coaching to understand and define your process. Okay, so there's one of 2 things you could do, and I've done both of these things. You can, before you jump on any coaching calls with anyone, you do discovery calls. And so people may answer some sort of survey with some questions centered around whether they're committed, what they're looking for, all of this kind of stuff there, and then jump onto a discovery call where you're essentially trying to understand the pain that they're going through and really define their current situation. And then you reveal to them how you can actually help them. It doesn't have to be in crazy detail, but you're there to answer their questions. And once everything has been clarified, then you can seal the deal, close it, and receive payment on the call. Or if they need further time, let's say another 24 hours, then that can happen as well. And then there would be some sort of agreement or contract that is signed that has things centered around the expectations between you and the client as well. And then so after that contract is signed and you've done an introduction email and all that kind of stuff there, you can either do a follow-up survey with that individual to get more information for your first session, or you can just have the first session. Okay, so there are multiple ways in which you can do it. The other way in which you can do it is if you essentially do a free coaching session. Okay, so you may split it in 2, or you may just have a free coaching session. What do I mean by this? So at the beginning, you may have the first half of that session that talks about the purpose of why you want coaching, the psychological aspects of the coaching side of things, and then the practical side of things as well. Okay, so purpose is, the main goal they want to achieve. Then you've got the psychological, so the expectations, what do they know about coaching, all of that stuff there. And then the practical, so the timings, the place, the format, the cost, all of that stuff there. And then you can follow on with a free coaching session for the rest of the half an hour, or you can do a full 45 minutes of coaching for free, and then they can decide whether you want, if you want to continue or not. So really good stuff there. I would say it's important for you to make sure that you use the right tools as well. So tools will include things like cal.com, CAL.com. So that's a booking tool like Calendly. You can also use that as well. You can also use Google if you have their premium service, and essentially that allows you to do Google Meets over 60 minutes, I believe. You can have a booking link there. You can record the calls. There are all these things that you can do. So I love the whole Google ecosystem, and that's pretty much what I use for my stuff. There's also booking software such as Book Like a Boss, which is what I use. But again, you can find these things like AppSumo and other stuff where you can get these you can pay one-time fees for these softwares, and you can have all this stuff to yourself where you don't have to pay reoccurring fees. So it just needs to be good enough, should I say. And so make sure to record all calls, and you have to tell obviously the client that you're working with that you're going to record the calls. Record discovery calls as well, but you may provide the recordings for actual coaching clients who again are working with you and stuff. So that's really good. But you can utilize the recordings, the transcripts, for, I would say, learning purposes, understanding themes, all of that kind of stuff there. You can put it into generative AI to, again, understand what are the main concerns and themes, what things you did well, what things you didn't do well. You can understand a summary of what was discussed, what sort of like frameworks and tools did you use, lessons learned. This is all great because if you are going down the accreditation route, then it's a good way for you to stay consistent in terms of CPD development, training, all of that kind of stuff there. You also want to make sure that you track who you're coaching. Okay, so obviously name, demographic information if you can, also things around the occupation, the things that they've actually needed help with, and maybe a small one-line summary, because this helps you to learn and understand who is coming towards you. This is all about development and learning as well for you in terms of who you're attracting. I would say when you first start out, you may want to charge £50 to £300 per session. You want to do this on a gradual scale to the point where you're just in crazy demand. And that demand will be developed based on your content, you talking about your coaching, all of that kind of stuff there. So hopefully that gives you a really strong idea. Make sure to have your discovery call link or your free coaching link in every single video or content piece that you produce, and that will give you an opportunity for people to reach out. It doesn't have to be a hard sell. You don't even need to sell it. You just need to tell people that, they have the opportunity to, again, reach out to you, so they can go to your landing page or booking page and book a call. Make it clear on that booking page that this is not just for anybody, but it's for the right person who is suited for the problems that you help solve. I think those are most of everything that I wanted to say. But essentially, you'll start to learn about your audience in a deeper way. So hopefully this has been helpful. If you want to see more videos centered around this stuff, around portfolio careers or independent consulting, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. And as always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.